Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. I'm your host, Sir Stephen Topham at the third at your service. Now we're going to be talking about this seriously because I know you had 2 hour podcast yesterday, which, don't get me wrong, I was angry with the Norfolk County or the Norfolk County Council in general, right? Who can't blame that? But the thing is, their actions have cost consequences. Right, this is why we're going to do it as a three-parter today called a three-way direction. Right, a lot of you have got questions, but I'm not going to argue on saying, oh, you're passionate and all that. That's BS. Right, to me, it is realistic. Right, because you can't beat the truth on that. Right, and a lot of people think it's like, what the what? Yeah, well, it's all true anyway. I'm not going to be bullshitting on that. Excuse my language, but there you go. Um, Let me explain why I'm talking about a three-way direction. Right? When people look into things quite deeply, or they doing the action they should not done, or action they really want to get going and wants it to proceed further. Right? I get that. But when I was like saying, yeah, well, come on. When people know things like I do, like pick up things, little clues, little hints, which it goes in the newspapers first, because obviously that gives you a hint, and then everybody will say, oh shit, or crap, or whatever the public says, right? Then they're growing concerned, right? They want reassurance where you're establishing this connection or this point across. We're talking about a three-way direction here, right? It could go one way or the other, right? We know that, that's for sure. But when I looked at that article, I thought, what? And that dropped clawed on me. But then I made sure and get my connection correctly. People need, but they don't want the freight train yet. They don't want the docks connection yet. That's where the fraud is, right? Obviously, people don't know their railway history as they thought they know, right? I can see it in two-way direction, yes, I can. But I'm breaking it down into three directions because I need people to think, right? I need all of you. I need your help on this to throw back at the government, throw back at the councils, and say, look where you're putting it. That's strike one. Two, what is more what is more needy, not a wanty. Then you've got the final cut, basically. It's like the final decision on both sides, like myself and the council or the government. Even that, they have to be realistic on how much money they're spending to get that path going for you. Right? It's not basically it's the government's fault that got Dr. Beecham to do the action that he did not want to do. He didn't want to dismantle a railway. Right, books lie to a point. When you reverse it, ding, 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 reading between the lines as we do, and we bang and tell you it wasn't his fault. It was the government's fault. So when you look at Dr. Beecham, he was basically a victim. We all blamed him to begin with. Then we all got backfired and said we saw that mistake happen once. We're not having it a second time, right? So when we talk about this realistically, why a three-way direction? Why I say that? Right, a lot of people see it unfold naturally, normally, without no hesitations. But people are repeating history. Right, you see Titanic 2, you're seeing this, you're seeing that, and that should click in your mind. Did we see this? And it's deja vu in your heads, which is normally another way. But the other way I'm saying to you is like the councils have to reevaluate what they are actionising, right? The councils have to look where they're putting it, and let's say the public needs something, but they're just saying to you, look, how many of you actually know your railway history and how much damage it caused in the past that you don't want it to happen again and again and again and again? I said, look, if you look at it logically, look where it's going, look at where it can be achieved in a way that you can see it. Right? But there's things in there that's black and white. Right? You can't change the past. I understand that. But the thing is, we've been watching from a distance without harming you. Right? We saw every slip up, every mistake. But the thing is, when you talk about 1969 onwards and onwards, I saw what you've done because I was a kid, a young boy who thought he was like, me being a 5-year-old kid, understand what needs to be fixed. Bang. Why? Right, let's take it all prospectively, right? A lot of people need the Hand Stanton, which is Kirk Ronan, all the way to Vickerstown, which is King's Lynn route. They need that because that's passenger, right? That was nearly basically because one of my ancestors worked on that line just for obvious reasons, and then bang, what happens? Ding dang dong. Right, we talk about a three-way direction, right? Let's break it down again, shall we? Right, the council wants this, the docks, but they can't do that. Why? You see, the docks may be the key, yes, but not at the moment. What do they need before they can even establish that? There's something in their heads that rattle. Ding, and it's not making them think quick. It's making them slip up. So what do? They reevaluate what they need and what the public needs. Right? So they separate them. Right? We have to put the public first. Strike one. Two, docs come later. Right? That could be on the future list, if you will, not now. Because if you do it too early, then you're screwed. Right? So when we try and break it down for you and tell you what is a needy and what's a wanty right now, right, I can establish you that the docks will be connected, but not today, not tomorrow. Why? Too early. Why? Season 4 and 5 of the early years told you exactly what's unfolding. Right? All I had to do is translate it into reality for you to get your heads focused and say, okay, he's talking sense, he's talking reality, and he's put it all in our heads because we have to work together as one. So when you're now woken up, smelling the coffee, having tea in the morning and all that, you start to think, okay, it's making sense, but there's no BS, it's straight down the point. Yesterday, I had to make it strict and stern all the way through, which I did not need to all the time. Right? When we look at Norfolk upside down as the best way we could at the moment, you're looking at what? Sodor, yeah. Obviously, it's going to break your brain and say shit. Right? When we talk about Hand Stanton, right, to King's Lynn, that's number one. Why? You've got Hand Stanton. Okay, it's a car park area at the moment. Right? I get that. But can people be using the head just for a moment here? Hand Stanton to King's Lynn. Why is that bloody important? Let me explain. There's a lot of disused stations that are still intact with double tracks if needed and then go quite straight through in and out like a yo-yo from Handstanton to King's Lynn plus the middle age station. Why, in reality, that's no fiction in that. That's reality to the core. So when I said don't do the docks until last, why? Not many trains, freight trains, travel in and out like a yo-yo. I know what you're trying to accomplish. Why? I get it. When you thought of advertising it in the newspaper, you fucking scared the lights out of people. The community were like saying, what the fuck are they doing? Excuse my language, but it's a fact. Right, when they all, when I say way direction, I said the council fucked up, the government fucked up. That's stage one. Not thinking straight in the heads first. So you have to reevaluate everything you need. And then you've got to think about the community's needs, what they want, need. Why? I'm telling you now, why? A lot of people are not thinking on their heads and feet to realise, oh shit, he's right. Regardless, there's a few buildings in place that blocking the old railway route in general, it's still possible to go round it. But you have to think up here, logically, you can't go as fast as you used to, because it's not a straight down line anymore, number one. Number two, you've got that big C in front of it. If you go north, obviously, it's telling you right there, black and white. Then it goes to Handstanton in a straight line. Why? 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 A lot of you may be thinking, what the shit? It's all true, so I can't lie to you. Why? I'm not dishonest with you. Why? You have to be realistic, right? You have to really understand there is a lot of facts gone into this and reality because it's reality that was based upon, not just fiction. And then you're gonna say, oh shit. Why do you think I know so much without you hesitating to jump off a cliff? Why? The council will have to reevaluate how they want to achieve it and give people what they need as much as what they need. This is why I'm saying two become one. Two pieces become a whole. Why? When we talk about the Handstanton to King's Lynn, they try to what do you call it? Leaflet across the globe, even leaflet around Norfolk, as they say, Handstanton to King's Lynn, Handstanton to King's Lynn, rail route, rail route, rail route. What? Why? Topham was supposed to do that, but they couldn't. So why? It goes back to the Norfolk County Council. Why? They say there's a load of bullshit that won't happen. Routine, right? I said it can happen if you know what you're doing. Right? Then it goes back to myself as well because I get informed. Why? You see, when people look at the map and the old railway routes and what can be established, what can be rectified, what can be fixed, what can be travelled right to that area, and give another location on the map that was once on the map. So when you look at the old railway systems, you're going to say, oh shit, he's right. He's not bullshitting. I said I wasn't bullshitting from the beginning. Why? You're going to say shit. You see, you're going to look and realise why. Why is that particular route so special? Just think about it logically, right? Natford / Cromer is not the only seaside town available at the time to go travelling to, right? Handstanton, its counterpart, was its alter ego, which is Kirk Ronan upside down. So work it out. Then you're gonna click in your head and realise, okay, the docks can bloody well wait. but the passenger service to Stanton to King's Lynn is the number one on the list. So a second opinion, a second option from me, is just giving it to you on a plate, right? I don't want people to think what he's talking sense. Well, I am. I would not bullshit with the bush. Why? It's when people realise what is unfolding in front of you. I said watch what you see because sometimes the choices you make have consequences or good results. But you need to know when it's a good time to implement two pieces become a whole. Right, when you got the Stanton and King's Lynn route, then I will say go with the docks because that'll be the next one up the line. Right, when you think about it straightforward, usually the docks will be the last, not the first. Right, when somebody sends a leaflet to me and the West of Stanton and King's Lynn, what did they expect to need? Passenger services to King's Lynn all the way to Stanton. Right, right, you, the council was saying, no, 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 we want the docks. I said that's a second option, yes, but the first option comes first, which is the passenger services. Why? Then people will appreciate it more because it's going back in its rightful place. Right, then you can start putting the docks in second. Why? When you think about railway systems of the past, they cost more to do today. This is why it's dangerous right now because recorrecting something that is a needy, not a wanty, you really need to realise, ding, 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 it's there. Why? Because you know I'm talking sense. Right, when it all goes down in black and white and it's telling you in correct mode and all of that, you're going to start asking questions. Right? Questions you need and want. Right? The councils will look into this and they will go stump, stump, stump. Why? They've been caught out. So while they're evaluating about a freight train to go from in King's Lynn area as example, there's a docks as example, right, of course they can extend that. But that comes second. Why? You have people asking for things first before your option. Right? This is why I hate people overriding the community over themselves. Why people that work for the community, for the Norfolk County Council, overrides the community, you're wrong. You're bloody wrong because you have more people against you. Why? Because this is why I am not one of the communityists. I am the fact controller. Stephen Topham Hatt the third at your service. Right? I'm telling you now. If you need something to move forward, you're going to have to go through the passenger services first. Why? A lot of people just don't see it because when they are, when they really are in those offices, they don't know BS from their cows come home. But when we talk about it logically down the line, a three-way direction, right? I'm telling you now. If they do the docks first, one move. Why? Where that freight train going to then? Mud'll go nowhere. Haven't got no connection for that. So you can't go say, well, we got the M&GN. I said, no, you haven't. You dismantled it a long time ago. Because that used to be part of the NWR. So work it out. Use your common sense up here. And use this. Something is clicking in your heads. Saying, we need the docks first. I said, no, you do not. You go through the passenger services first. Why? Because they are more of a need than a want. Why? A lot of you know this from in and out. I'm not going to argue with something that's realistic, not just fiction. I mean, But I want you to understand. You think I'm passionate? No. I'm business, not bullshit. Right? When you've got two bloody problems in front of your face, don't go for the docks first because you'll end up shit. Right? When it goes through the passenger services, the community get what they need. Right? You can start off with one big long branch line to Hand Stanton all the way to King's Lynn, which is Kirk Ronan, all the way to Vicarstown, which is true, and then you're gonna end up saying shit, he's right. He's not bullshitting. And I never bullshit in any angle. So when you look at it, you put yourself and saying, what shit, crap, boom. It's hitting your head right now, saying, we screwed up. Right? I get that the memo has to be understood. I get it that you need a little bit of guidance, a little support, a little help here and there. But I'm not there to abuse you because you need to do your jobs as well as I have to do mine. Right? When it all comes down to agreement, you have to realise the passenger services come first. Right? They don't expect a dockyard to be extended first. It's wrong. However, regardless, I did a 2-hour podcast yesterday, which nearly made you self-aware that it was wrong to do so. Right? You're going to end up with a problem that you can't solve. Then you're going to ask yourself, where is that going then? Because you can't use the main line all the time. So work it out. When I was younger, when I was at College of West Anglia, based in Kingsland / Vicarstown College, I was watching it from the 8th floor, seeing backwards and forth, and you couldn't go to the docks because it wasn't connected up. Right? Then it got too crafty. I saw the actions you were performing then. Now you want to extend it back to the docks. People at the railway road of King's Lynn will not appreciate a railway line across that and then back at the docks. Not yet. Why? Because you're going to help at certain points of time. You're going to help them extend that line a little bit, but not at first hand. You think about the passenger services first before the docks. Why? Because they've been asking for, out of politeness, to say they want to Hand Stanton to King's Lynn. Why? Why, Hand Stanton was one of the seaside towns that is identical to Cromer. Why? Because they are a copy of each other. Why? I know that. I'm not fit, and I'm not stupid for that. Right? A lot of people may not realise, oh shit, he knows what he's talking about. Right? I will put that in a chat conversation. I said it's all true. It's all facts. You can't beat that. So when you look at the realistic point across, the docks can bloody wait. When the docks can wait, then the passenger services come first of all plain eyesight. When somebody's been leaflet across the globe in Norfolk, more likely, saying Hand Stanton to King's Lynn route down the line, bang. What do they expect? They don't expect the Norfolk County Council to say no, and they want it their way, their way. No, the community comes first. In all plain eyesight, you can't argue with that. So when you got the whole community saying they need this, they need that, it's why. When the community knows something that they need, they will get it. But if the councils are going to play hard to get, as they call it, then they will. I told you you're going to get stumped. It doesn't matter which way you look at it. You're not. I'm not laughing. Right? It's all when all the facts are all put in front of you. When you look at the old railway route maps and all of that, you're going to say, "Oh fuck, he's right." Right? I'm not going to swear just to kick off, but I'm giving you a valid point. A three-way direction on this. Right? It could have gone the other way and you'd be screwed. The councils can only do so much. The government can only do so much. But at the same time, you're not looking at the bigger picture. I said, if you thought about it, first of all, what the councils were looking at, admiring and understanding, what comes first, passengers or freight? Passengers come first because they bring in the money for you. So passengers come first in all prime eyesight. Well, I don't know what's in the council's heads at the moment. They're probably overwhelming, probably a little bit shit. Crap, he caught us. Which is what is going through their heads. Because they're getting caught by me for being honest with them and understanding, say, what's the principles. I said, passengers come first. Why? I get it. You're doing bigger stations and doing that and doing this and doing that. Then it all adds up to one thing. Right? When the whole thing comes together slowly, give it time. It's not going to be a big rush, obviously. It's not going to be like, here we go, we can do it, ding, 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 ding. No. If you rush it, you mess up. Right? I'm telling you now. I've been honest with you. Right? A lot of people can't put the two together to realise, oh shit. Right? I'm telling you now. Right? When people need hand Stanton to King's Lynn or Kirk Ronan to Vicarstown, they're going to say, oh crud, he's right. Right? Then you're going to start moaning because you need another connection in place to keep it going. Right? There's so much. Right? What the Norfolk Audible Railway is trying to do, you bloody stumped them. And it's the council's fault on that part for building houses and roundabouts and roads in the way the railway would have gone through to get to that area. Why, I get that because I know people from connections through connections. I get points across. Why, I see things with my own eyes, and I'm telling you now, if you never screwed up, you would have got people's needs first before you think about the docks, for example. The docks came first, wrong move. So what do you do when you've got a three-way direction? Passengers come first. In all plain eyesight. Why? Because they bring in the money for you. Two, then you can think about the docks at King's Lynn. Because that's the next thing on the list for you. And then you'd be screwing your heads on a bit and saying he's fucking right. Right, I get that when you want people to know these things ahead of schedule or know these things in advance, it's a good sign. But at the same time, you're trying to say, look, shit, crap, he's right. Right, I'm not going to bullshit with the bush. Right, when King's Lynn is a vital docking system, right, it can when the boats used to come in, we had the felicities to do what needs to be done with the railway lines and the way they connect to the docks. And the docks used to pick up all the goods for you, the milk, and all the other bits and pieces. I said, yeah, well, now they are required again, big time, right? But you have to think about the passengers first. So when Hans Stanton and King Slinger got a leaflet on themselves saying we want to reconnect this line, we want to reconnect it, I said, let me look this up and I'm going to prove my point. Right? We know it's true. A lot of people need it, right? Obviously. I'm not going to bullshit with the bush. It doesn't matter whose council it is or who's starting the damn fight. Right. I think people have forgotten about it so long that they've forgotten about it in the initial way they said. I said to you, it's going to stump you. So now you've got it in black and white. Right? I get the point. You're looking at it and they thought, here we go. So when you look at that, what do you see? Reopening of the King's Lynn to Handstanton Railway campaign. Now wake up and smell the coffee on that. People are needing this because they requested it. When the passengers request it, they're gonna get it because they asked for it politely. They don't complain. They went straight to me as well, you see. Information comes quicker than a naked eye. So grow up when it's all there in black and white for you. So when it all shows you in black and white, you can't argue with the facts. The facts are all there in black and white in it. I said, if my mouth is not good enough for you, the written material is right there in black and white. So when they want King's Lynn to Handstanton, ding ding, they doing a campaign to reopen it all back up. Now work it up here. What ticks with you? You want the docks? No, that's second. Right? Passenger services come first above all else. And I could be talking about, look, there's three-way direction. Okay, the council messed up, including the EDP messed up, because they didn't know what needs to be done first. Right? When they look at that site, they're going to say, oh, fuck, we did screw up. Right? The docks will come second because the passenger services come first. Why? Passengers bring in money for you. They like to travel. They don't need to BS. They're getting straight to the point with you, and they told you it. Before the stop railway system came into play, did the councils pay attention to it? No. They thought the docks would come first and the freight trains come first. I said no. It's the passenger services that give you the money here. So they come number one here. So when you look at it, how come the facts are there in black and white then? I'll be leaving the link for that underneath the radar, but in the day, it's in black and white, and it's fed up with the A149, disappointed that your children have to move away from work, concerned that your new development in West Norfolk will make road congestion, even driving terrible. Think how good it would be if you could live in Norfolk coast and commute to Cambridge comfortable on a train or get it from Handstanton to Lynn in 20 minutes. So, what are they trying to tell you? If they told you this, I already knew about this. Right, reopening beaten cut railways hopes, rise of restoring of disused Norfolk Railway, for example. News from the September the 2020 2022. Now 2 years later, I come back in to stab you all in the back. Wake up. I said it's there, bloody black and white, I'll tell you now. In any angle, sir. That's right, Thomas, in every angle. So when it's all there, bloody black and white for you, why ignore something that you need? Rather bloody damn want. I said the docks can wait. The passenger services can't. They waited 2 years for what they asked you for. So I'm not gonna bullshit with you. So when it's all there bloody black and white, I said to you, you're gonna get stumped. Why? Because it's in bloody black and white. And I said to you there's gonna be consequences on the line somewhere down the line. But then you have to realise why. So when you look, reinstate the train line from Kingsland to Hunstanton. So everybody's doing a petition to try and get it re-established. I'm saying they're going to get a full steam ahead on that because I know the facts. So realistically, you're dealing with something that's unfolding in truth, but you're not listening because you didn't pay attention. Number one. And number two, you thought about docks. I said that can wait. Right, when it's all there and bloody black and white, I said Kingsland Railway Line to Stanton is more of a needy, not a wanty. Let me go away, right? Let me just put this in the comments so you get it black and white when it goes up. Hold on. So when I establish to you the facts that were put in front of you in black and white, you do not argue with the Kingsland to Hunstanton Railway campaign because they want it to move forward. But it's taking them 2 years longer because you guys are not thinking up in your heads a lot more. When it's all there in bloody black and white, I'll tell you now, I'll be leaving you with the bloody website address as well because I don't want to. Right? Because I'm not letting them be this. Hold on, don't. So realistically, that's the web address, right? Reopening it, obviously. So when we are reopening the Kingsland to Hunstanton Railway campaign, as example, that existed since 2022, may I add, cash 22, you're going to end up saying, what the fuck? How does he know about that? Well, we didn't. I said you had leaflets to prove a point. It's in black and white, and you can't argue with that. So wake up, look at the Docks Railway that the council want. They're not going to get it right now because that's the second option on the list. Passenger services come first above all else. So grow up. Apparently you don't need, you need to learn. It's like teaching the young ones the old ways again to establish the fact we have to do these things slowly, not in a rush. The councils rush. They slip up, make mistakes, didn't look right through, and thought it was all BS. I said, no, it isn't. Right? When we establish that, it's in black and damn white. Right? A lot of people have to have passenger services to get you to A and B. I get that. Because it's number one on the list all the time. The docks can bloody well wait because they're not going nowhere and it's pointless at the moment. You have to give them a direction to go. So when I establish it to you, you're going to have to wake up and smell a damn coffee. So when Hans Stanton and King's Lynn need that connection, they've been asking it for 2 years right now, and then they never got approval to go forward and start it up. And you think about the docks, I said the docks can bloody well wait. But when you look down the line, passenger services give you money. Docks doesn't. Docks is only provide the goods. Think about it up here. Because it's all about money, right? You always think about money all the time. Think about it logically, right? When we talk about railway lines of the past, present, or future, you're ending up with a campaign that's standing there for 2 years, and now it's 2024. Right? It's reality of what's unfolding, right? People are going to start waking up the smell of coffee. Even that, people will ask, now I see where he's coming from, why he blurt out everything in 2 hours straight, makes it new. But, every day you're going to end up realizing, oh shit, right? There are things about this that unfolds in bloody truth. And you're not saying shit, shit, shit. All in one bucket. He's typed it all in one bucket and he's got it in one bucket. I'm not gonna lie. It's just that certain people don't want this event to unfold in front of you, but you need it because it's a passenger services. If anybody doesn't care about passenger services, some people are desperately fucking up their side of the line, not mine. Why? Because I'm sitting it back and watching it unfold. While they all doing it in councils, every council, all the governments are all screwed up because they need guidance and support by me. It's always about me. It's not about me in general. It's about you and the future. What people needs are, what they need as a community as a whole. Community needs this. Community needs that. Why? Because they asking politely to you. Right? They campaign. They do research. They do this. They do that. See what was actually making money to a point. You know what I mean? When Steam came in, they didn't expect by 1959, 1969, it was all fading away, and people thought steam were useless, diesels are powerful. Yes, of course, they broke down quite a lot. This is why Rail Network is all tied up in a knot, thinking, why is steam coming back? Too really useful. Like I stated in the last podcast, but I'm making sure that you get the right way around this so you don't screw up. A lot of this is all realistic. It's just the way you weren't paying attention and thought it was a lot of BS, and now it's BS. That BS is not BS at all. It's fact. When it's all established to you what people's needs are, not wants. When you got passenger services, they come first. Right? When it goes down to the docks, that's second. Right, so either day I'm just pointing you in the right direction. Why? Because you have to learn these things. There's always freeway direction around this. Right? But in the day if you take the wrong if you take the passenger route, you're gonna gain money to help you to get the docks connection in. You don't want to keep spending money, but you need to spend money on the passenger services to get the passenger services running, and then you got Kingsland and Stanton building all that money back into the community again, and plus in the councils and all the governments and all that, and then they be appreciated because they say, "Why we understand." There's more people that want to travel by train because they're faster, normally fastest on the route right at the moment. When steam trains follow suit, they're going to ask for turntables. Why? Because they will be on the next one on the list because I'm not laughing about it. Why? It's reality of what you're getting. But you had Cromer that had a similar problem, and I said, look, the supermarket's on a turntable map. What I mean is, it's underneath the supermarket. Can't be used. So, while people need food and water isn't needed, but they could have done it a little bit further away from where it was. Right, a good yard is also capable, but the thing is, when the Norfolk Railway wanted to go to Cromer and make it a regular service for you to go from Cromer all the way to Holt, vice versa, it's going to extend as the time goes on. But when we talk about Handstanton and King's Lynn, yes, of course, it's the first route that you got on the list. It's a passenger services, so it will gives you money. Money provides the government. Money gets the government. The government gives the money back to get their docks running. That's right too. So when I've been honest with you, as it would be honest with myself, if I said passenger services always come out better than the docks. So when you ask for the docks first, you're wrong. So it's there in bloody black and white. I can't argue what's there in black and white. So when you got this in your head, realizing what they want to do and what they want to accomplish, right now you got to realize, okay, there's a lot of things need to be put in check before you unfold everything like a book. So when it unfolds in front of you, people will realize that passenger services are always going to outwit the docks at the moment. When you talk about the docks, don't go that direction because certain people have been asking for something 2 years prior for the docks. So the passenger services come first, then the docks. Docks come last. Right, so in the day, don't screw up when people have been asking or needing something they need. But up here in your head, it's not making you think straight. The community knows I'm thinking straight and being honest with you. I said it's there in black and white. How can you argue with something that's there? Been there, trying to tell you, trying to be honest with you, and you stab them in the back like routine. I said to you there was going to be a stump. Why? I get that. But the councils did not know that because they didn't realise, oh shit. So they've been asking for this for 2 years, and now we are demanding this. How bloody stupid are we? That's what they're saying in their heads right now. And now it went into EDP. People got pissed off. The whole community got pissed off. Why? Because they got the facts, the truth, and the logic out of that, but they know what was meant to unfold first beforehand. So I'm now reversing it for you to tell you we're gonna reopen the Kingsland and Kingsland to Handstanton Railway. Why? Passengers come first. Why? Because they are living human beings as well that provide the transport for you. But at the same time, they were telling you, all in black and white. You can't stop. You got more stations on that bloody route than you would have had if you had the docks available. Right? The docks can bloody well wait. So when I said there's a three-way direction, I'm just being completely honest with you. Because I already seen what you were unfolding, and I thought, no, you don't. Not on my turf, not on my box, and not on everybody. When people looked about this, thought about this 24 hours later, for me it was 24 hours behind because I had to think twice as much to able to help you. It's not a BS job. This is reality. Why do you think I go to the arms and length to try to tell you there's more than what you are getting? Because there's a lot more involved around it. You know, when people thought about this, let's say, let's say they didn't tear up the railways in 1969, right? You would have had your docks, number one. Number two, you had all the railway stations available to you, my ad. All you had to do is electrify them. Then steam could still run through it. Why? No rail permits. Why? Because you're thinking straight. But no, you got the government are killers. Right? The government didn't even think, let's set up Dr. Beeching for all of this problem. No, he helped one railway line, which I cannot name because I know exactly which one it is. Let me look that up too. Because I don't bullshit with the bush. Right? Dr. Beeching maybe, right, taking orders from the government, which is true, but it wasn't his truly fault. I said, look, right, right, when we all thought about Dr. Beeching, we ending up thinking he's a killer, he's a destroyer. I said, right, he appreciated a lot of railway stations in some parts of the areas. I'm not saying all of them, right? The thing is, what a lot of people don't get, when Dr. Beeching really looked into some railways, he actually supported one of the areas, which is true. But he wasn't a railway killer as such. It's all down to the government in the end. Because in the day, the government fucked up. Excuse my French. It's happening. It's happened before, and it's trying to happen again. I said, not this time. It won't. Because you see, a lot of people said, um, let me just find out. When we all talk about, let me just find out which one he supported. But overall, but some of the time that you have to realize, shit. But let me explain this to you. There's so much that you don't realize what's coming back. It's like saying shit. You see, you waited a 30-year gap for my return. Like I said, I'm Stephen Topham Hatt the third. You see, the thing is, what a lot of people don't get, it's like this. I said to you, you're gonna get stumped, right? Because now I'm back to trying to recorrect all your problems. Right, a lot of you may not think straight at the moment, but when it comes down to it, it's all reality. It's no fiction and all of this. It's all reality from the core. When a lot of things unfold in front of you, right, there were a lot of railway lines that did get approved to be kept running, but what they got it going as they would do, like Swanage Railway, for example. Swanage, they're down southwards of course. They got approval to keep running and everything else until Dr. Beeching really shoved, shoved it up their throats. And I said, God, what planet are they all on? They got approval to keep running and be, a preserved railway line, if you will. But that's no lie either, because it's all facts. There are preserved railway lines around the whole United Kingdom. Why? Ready to be reconnected. That is no lie at all. So when you think the government are always on everybody's side, the answer is no. Because I'm telling you, they've never been very supportive of the community because they don't know what a lot of people have options, opinions, and everything else, and they're ending up saying shit. The railways do matter, and when the railways matter, they're ending up facing to me. Why? Because I'm reality, I'm fact, and I'm logic. To go forward on you, to help you, say, look, don't trust the government because the hand is what they're talking to. Right? When they all talk about the the choices they make, the options they make, and everything else. I said, Doc, in the other day, when you talk about the railway systems of the past, they should never been dismantled because a lot of these railway lines could have been used today as regular passenger services and cargo ones, as they should do. And then everybody asks, then they don't have to repair the docks railway line either because it's already connected up. And then everybody wouldn't moan about it too much. And then when it all, if it stayed intact, nobody would never harass me. No one will ask for questions that need answering, obviously, and the answers were staring right in front of their faces if it stayed on the line. What I mean is, then all they had to do is look south and then bump your uncle. Then they would not moan because all the answers were there in black and white. But today, what's most of it there? Try to go back to where it was. Slowly, catch a monkey, and you got Hans Stanton to King's Lynn on the line right now, saying this is the go ahead. Why the docs can bloody damn wait. That's the fact. But you got to be realistic. But you got to see what mistakes they've done in the past cannot happen again. Because then you screwed yourselves up. I'm just trying to get away round the councils and the government to say, look, wake up, a lot of you. The community needs this as example, which I put in bloody good capitals and all. Right? I really told you about Kingsland to Handstanton Railway was a campaign that started 2 years ago. And we are in September on the month they actually asked for it. And then you're saying, no, we all want the docks railway. I said, look, then you do not need it at the moment. You need this, what I'm stating. Reopening the Kingsland to Handstanton Railway campaign. Why? Because they need to come first because they're passenger services. Then people will start wondering, oh, so they can extend the line for that, which is true. I'm not bullshitting the bush, but if let's give you two scenarios, right? That's all it takes for me to tell you exactly how fucked up they could be if they do the docks first. Now let's talk about the docks, shall we? Before we go back to the campaign, let's talk about two things, right? The docks scenario. If they do that first, they're fucked. Where's that railway freight train or train going to? Nowhere. They screwed up. Why? Because usually the freight train normally goes through South Lynn, which they haven't got the base for at the moment. But they can't go through King's Lynn all the time because it just rotates backwards, forwards, going down the line and then come back and go forward or back on the main line and all of that. That's not the problem. But I'm giving you a simple scenario where it's all heading to. You got all the cargo, you got all the milk. Let's just say certain areas do need passenger services, which is true. I'm not going to lie on that, right? So that's the first scenario which could fuck them right up. This is what I said. You got number one, you got the scenario of the docks, which they haven't started yet, but they screwed up. Now let's talk about the Handstanton to King's Lynn line. What are you going to benefit out of that? First of all, you get the passenger services. Then you get the cargo. That'd be number two, right? But what you have to realise, what is a needy and what is a wanty on this, right? So let's talk about scenario number two. Why is King's Lynn and Handstanton Railway very important? A lot of people know this answer, but they very afraid of saying it out loud. I said it's in black and damn white. You can't argue what's been unfolded, right? I'm telling you now. It's fact, it's logic, and it's logical. It's not just about being realistic. It's about understanding what people's needs are, not just wants. This is something that is communal with both, from the council, the passengers, and the government. All three. So, when I say reopening the King's Lynn to Stanton Railway would help the situation on everybody's party. Then everybody will say it's a needy for the passengers. Then you got your need for money. Think about it. It circulates. Ding, 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 ding. What's the wells that spin so well? So work it out. Without the passengers, you don't get money, which is number one. Then it goes back to the railway, obviously, to begin with. Then it goes back to the councils and the government, obviously. Then they will have enough money to build a docks line again, or extend it even that. Then it will click, 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 and then you will say, oh, fuck, he's right. Right, I'm being honest with you. You have to be realistic on how it's been unfolded in front of you, but you've got to be realistic. Showing that bloody news article yesterday as example was a bad move. A lot of people have to be realistic when it comes down to it. When it all unfolds correctly in front of you, then you're going to say, what shit, he's right. You know what I mean? It's like a chicken and the egg. If you want something, you have to do something for the community first that community needs. Because without that, you can't get the money in, extra money. Right? King's Lynn to Stanton, obviously, which I know is Bickerstown and Kirk Ronan, which we need, and I need it, obviously, we all need it. I'm not saying we're not all on the same playing field to begin with. Two pieces become a whole. Bing, bing. Why? Look, I'm just giving you an estimated why it's a needed, not a wanted. To a lot of people, to the councils and the government at the moment, they see it as a wanted. And I said, wrong. Just think about it logically, about the finances you got at the moment and the finances that you're able to do. Right? People are right. It is normally a 20-minute drive down the line. But that's only if you use the quick line. But we don't want it to go so quick at first. Steam trains can do that. Right, which I can understand that. But it gives the steam trains a lot more benefit, correct? But there's a lot of things you have to change a little bit here. Right, you got your dock connection ready at standby. Right, that won't in King's Lynn, right, at King's Lynn Station, you've got a dock connection, right? I'm not going to argue with that. But you got there with a buffer beam at the moment, so they can't go any further than what they've got at the moment, right? A lot of you need the passenger services to help the docks. So work around it. Do a circle. It's a full circle when you need it. All of us need everything, but we're fighting over something that's more important to begin with. It's passengers. And when passengers come first, that's the first thing you need to start off with. It's reopening the King's Lynn to Stanton Railway because that's important to help the whole lot out. One can't survive without the other. I keep telling people this. This is why it needs to be implemented now rather than later. Because if you think about the docks first, you're losing money and you don't know how to regain it back properly. Right? When it comes to King's Lynn itself, it is a very delicate railway area. But it's also connectable to Stanton, which you dismantled in 1950s and 60s. Because my ancestor, Dave, let's say Elgar William Bunting, was on the DMU when it first last ran. So what's forward? It always comes back to my family, not everybody else's. Why? Everybody knows the Hans Stanton line, how it used to run. Just need to work around it. That passenger services come first. Of all prime eyesight. I'm not argumentative, I've just been bloody dead honest. Right? You have to be realistic to get the full circle on that, right? Before you can go in a docks railway direction, you need to go through the passenger services first, through the Hans Stanton to King's Lynn first, because you need the money. Even if you do it in drips and drabs, it still pay off, because by the time it gets to Hans Stanton, ding, 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 big money comes in. Well, we all knew about this. One of my private contacts said Hans Stanton King's Lynn comes first. Why? He said that to me in every angle. So it's fact, it's logic, and you can't argue with it. Right? So realistically, get the facts right before you start off. Right? I'm just providing you with the website address where you need to go to and read it yourself. It's in PDF format and all. And it's all there in bloody black and white what people's needs are at the moment. If I ever catch every council or any government, right, doing what they are doing, one of these days you're going to end up saying shit. Because you will realise that the Hans Stanton Railway is the world's need hope. Right? We understand that we have to do this the right way, not the wrong way. We have to stop thinking about the docks and work around the passengers first. Right? People said, why do we need to open the docks first? What is the catch in all of that? Excuse my French. Right, when if the docks came first, you're screwed. It may be a small patch of railway line, but in the day it costs more. Why do you think I'm asking you to do the passengers first? Because there's a lot more money involved in it. Which is a lot of money they can give you back in return. Right? It's not just about the value of money, it's understanding what they've been asking for 2 years. I mean, and I state for the record, I can't argue for what the customers need. If the customers came to me, I would say you're dead right. I can't argue with the facts that have been put in front of my face. And then it's all there, bloody black and white. So, if you want to argue about something that has to be a three-way direction, I told you. You either have the passenger services first, docks come second, and then you have all your money back in return to do it again, to continue it even further and further. You have to follow suit. That passengers come first, above all else. Why? That's where the campaign comes in, of King's Lynn to Hans Stanton Railway. You need that first above all else. Then secondly, and most importantly, the docks come second. Why? You do not argue with me, because I'm telling you the truth in reality. Then the third of all, if you do the docks first, you're fucked. Excuse my language, but it's the way it's put in fact for you. And then you're going to ask yourself, how did he know that? And how did he know this? I said I'm one step ahead of you lot put together. I'm just I'm smoothing the edges, as they call it, in layman terms. I do not need the BS from the community, because the community are on my side all the time. But it comes down to the councils and the government, watch out. Okay, I get the Dr. Beaching fucked up. Right, I get it. Now everybody wish they had left the railways as they were to begin with. Okay, they were doing it from steam to electric, but they were going to be faster, more efficient, and steam could still be running today on those lines. You screwed yourselves up. Like, it's not your fault. The third generation are basically getting the heat, and I've taken the heat off them and said, don't make the same mistake as your ancestors, because your ancestors are gonna go boom, 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 boom. Right, I'm telling you now, we're gonna reopen the King's Lynn to Handstanton Railway because I've been asking it for it 2 years now. We have to think up here now, just a little bit, not what you want to achieve in life or accomplish that in life. You have to think about we can't do the docks far. Doc, let me put this right. If I was a member of the council, right, I'd put the passengers first because the passengers have to come first above all else. Right, then it'd be the dock. Why? If I put the docks first, we screwed. Or you're screwed, I would say. Right, which you were trying to attempt. And I told you, no. Thank you very much.